Hello, wondrous wizard of adventure. We've just unleashed a new feature called Campaign Profile that has all of your products and loot under one page so that you can instantly see everything you have access to. It's getting a bit confusing where things are, and as we get more and more loot added to the system, it's harder to find things. So this is one solution that we've implemented to help you find your stuff faster. And so before I get into the actual profile, let me first explain how login works, just briefly. So here we have a single sign-on system. So that means that you can use one username and password to access all of your Wizard of Adventure and role-playing tips, products, and services. And so this is illustrated here by something called Campaign Identity. And this is the system, the app, that has your credentials in it. It's a secure app, it's GDPR compliant, and it also abides by all of our privacy policies and Presium that we've posted. And so Campaign Identity is usually where we ask you to go and either log in through or create and register an account from. Now, once you've got a Campaign Identity, that works at Campaign Community, in the Campaign Profile, which I'll show you in a moment, for logging into Campaign Logger, for using our Campaign Tabletop virtual tabletop software, and for generator service. And we have more apps and things coming in the future, and they will all work off of the one ID that you've created through Campaign Identity. Now, what can be confusing is that you could come in through any of these routes. You could go through Campaign Logger or through Campaign Community, for example, and create an account there. When that happens, if you were to just go to Campaign Community, create an account, that would then sync automatically within an hour with Campaign Identity. And then that would propagate down back to all of these places. So sometimes the login path and the account creation path is a bit convoluted. But basically at any endpoint, you can create your account, and then your account is everywhere. The caveat being, for privacy reasons, especially for the Euro GDPR rulings, we need you to authenticate or give us permissions for some of these apps to have, store your data and do other things. So while you might log in to, let's say, Campaign Logger, if it's the first time, you might be asked to just confirm that you're willing to share your data with us, your campaign data with us and whatnot. But it is the same account everywhere. Now, to throw a little bit of a wrench in things, we have two kind of standalone services that are not integrated. One is the Role Playing Tips website. Now, fortunately, no login is needed there anymore. All of your products and services are accessible through the Campaign Identity system. So Role Playing Tips is mostly for blogs and archives, consuming the articles and the public content. And then there's Patreon. On Patreon, I post announcements, and then I copy exclusive content that is available over at Campaign Community, for example. I'll make it redundant on Patreon for your ease of access. But Patreon has its own login system, and we have not yet decided if we're going to merge that into our Campaign Identity system. So we have two kind of satellites, the website for Role-Playing Tips and Patreon. Otherwise, everything else as a Wizard of Adventure is all the same login via this Campaign Identity service. Okay, so let's talk about the campaign profile for a second. So if I go to the profile, you'll be greeted with a generic screen here. It asks you to log in. Sometimes there'll be a login button down here in blue. That's quick and easy to find. But you click login. Login sends me to Campaign Identity, which wants me to confirm my identity, which I will do. I click the login button. It takes me back to profile, my campaign profile. Now, Campaign Profile is going to grab in real time from our database all of the products and services that you have access to. So that'll take a little bit of time, so give it 10 seconds or so in order to populate your list, especially on the very first load. And so here now you have all of the products and exclusive articles and files and courses and books, everything that you have access to will be listed here. Now, I'm an admin, so I've got access to everything. But let's say you were a member of the Adventure Building Workshop. So you would see that line item here, and then you can click on it to access it. But if you click here to expand, here are all the files or lessons, depending on what kind of a product it is, that are related to this. And then you can go directly to that lesson or file or exclusive article, what have you, by clicking on the link. You can also mark the checkbox here to indicate that you've completed things. Now, this is not automated, not yet. This is just the first generation of the profile page, and features and ideas and suggestions are welcome. But at least on a manual basis, you can track whether you have downloaded something or consumed something just for your own tracking purposes. So then the next time you want to access something, what I recommend is bookmarking your profiles page. Oops, where did it go? Bookmarking your profiles page, and then using this as your launching point for basically the Wizard of Adventure ecosystem. So whatever you need to find that's within the Campaign ID system will be located here. Again, this does not speak to Patreon. It might in the future if you request it and it's technically possible. But at minimum, everything that you have purchased will be here for you to access, and we hope that makes finding your loot a lot easier. All right, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you online in the community, hopefully. Bye-bye.